Hey everyone, welcome to another episode of Live with NORML. I'm J.M. Padini, the Development Director for the National Organization for the Reform of Marijuana Laws. It's Friday, July 26, 2024. You know what that means? It's time for me to answer all of your burning questions live. Hey friends, thanks for joining us on a Friday. Take a minute, will you, if you will. Let us know in the comments where you're watching from. And if you have any burning questions. Oh, look at all of you on Instagram. Hello, Instagram. I can't show your comments from Instagram, but I can see them. Hello, pot calls the kettle bong. Welcome back, friend. Hey, Tree, good to see you. Hey, Chris, good to see you. Hello, hi, bud tenders in Las Vegas. Wow. It's been a minute. It's been a minute, friends. I hope you're all having a delightful summer. Thank you, Tree. I did some news, so I just, it's freezing in my office, so I just kept the jacket on. All right, hey, hit that like, follow, or subscribe button wherever you're watching so you never miss when NORML goes live. Charlie, thank you for mentioning that, my friend. Let's start with that. So on Monday, check and make sure what week it is. On Monday, that was the last day to submit public comment to the DEA on the proposed cannabis rescheduling petition. That's what I was talking about on the news, Charlie. And yeah, 43,000, over 43,000 people submitted comments, the majority of which agree with NORML that marijuana should be removed from Schedule 1. So, you know, that's not a surprise to any of you. Corey on Instagram is asking the status of federal decriminalization, and that's what we're talking about right now. The public comment period closed on Monday. At the very end of Monday. That's it. That's all that's happened so far. DEA has accepted public comment. Of course, NORML submitted public comment along with 43,000 other people. Hey, Fred, good to see you. So listen, this is just the beginning of what has often been a very long process. We're well aware that there have been multiple requests for hearings on this topic. We expect that there will likely be hearings on this topic, and some entities out there have threatened legal action if the federal government does proceed with rescheduling cannabis. Specifically, this is a rescheduling for botanical cannabis. No, it doesn't mean that you're going to be able to get a prescription for joints at CVS. You can get a prescription today that you can get filled at your local pharmacy for prescription, FDA-approved prescription drugs that contain the primary active ingredients in cannabis. Marinol is the brand name of a 100% pure synthetic THC drug that is available by prescription today. It's also available as a generic and in a few other formulations as well. And then there is Epidiolex, which is a CBD prescription drug. Those things already exist, and this rescheduling is specific to botanical cannabis. There will not be any significant impact to cannabis consumers if marijuana is rescheduled to Schedule 3. There is the potential for tax implications for state legal cannabis businesses. And, from a pragmatic standpoint, that's what happens. That's what could happen. Now, the bigger picture is that this really changes the way we talk about cannabis from a policy perspective in the United States. This is recognition that the federal government is finally abandoning its flat earth position with regard to cannabis. It is no longer saying that it lacks any medical utility. It is saying exactly the opposite, that cannabis does have accepted medical use. And that really changes the way the federal government will talk about cannabis. Kyle, I'm so glad you brought that up. I'm not glad it's happening, but I'm glad you brought that up. So Derek, on Instagram, I hope that answered all of your questions. Why can you not hear me, other Instagram person? Can anybody on Instagram want to say that you can hear me, as this person can't? So I'd like to know if you can. I'm sorry, Too Hot 73, that you emailed us but haven't gotten a response. I don't know what you asked, but feel free to send it again. I was out last week. Hey, Creation Station in Tennessee, you're welcome. We're all ready for change in that state. Blue to Green, thank you for letting me know you can hear me. I appreciate that. Derek, you're welcome. Okay, let's get into it. They hear everything. They sure do, don't they? Happy Friday to you, Wade. Hey, Nick, thanks for joining us. Kyle brings up a very important topic that we have mentioned. Corey on Instagram, I want to talk about Texas, so don't let me forget. Okay, yes, Kyle is not wrong. So Kyle is watching on Facebook and made a comment. The comment reads, the hemp industry in Florida is joining forces with Governor DeSantis on trying to derail Amendment 3. Amendment 3 is a ballot initiative, a constitutional amendment that will be on the ballot for Florida in November that will legalize adult use. Now, you're not wrong, Kyle. That's exactly what's happening. Kyle isn't wrong. Kyle is not being hyperbolic. That is, in fact, accurate. And it is, we started reporting on this, and I think about, if it was maybe 2 weeks ago. I feel like it was before I went on vacation. But yeah, it's wild to think that the hemp industry, and I struggle to choke out that kind of characterization of that segment as such, but that those operators, let's say that, it's wild that those operators who want to sell their products to cannabis consumers are comfortable with ensuring that 60,000 marijuana arrests continue to happen every year in Florida. What? I get it. Amendment 3 isn't good for your hemp business. But to say, well, I don't like that business plan, so I would prefer 60,000 people a year be saddled with arrest and prosecution, that's insane. What is wrong with you? And did you think no one was going to know? Guess again, friends. We actually have, let me see if I can get this story to open up. Yes, Leafly, I am from the United States and 21 or older. Thank you. Okay, David Downs at Leafly wrote about this, in particular, that prohibition is costing Florida at least $200 million a year, and they're estimating that 66,000 arrests are made annually in Florida for weed. So I don't know why my friends like to call me in the middle of this. Here's this one. I'm going to drop this Leafly story. It's kind of related. I'm going to drop that Leafly story in the comments, so you'll be able to see it. Sorry, you'll have to go to our Facebook to find it if you're on Instagram. But also, there's another story that, Kyle, I want to share that was in MJ Biz Daily. And this talks a lot about what you just mentioned. MJ Biz, Chris Roberts at MJ Biz wrote about this earlier this week. This was published on Tuesday. And the headline is hemp the enemy of Florida's adult use marijuana initiative? And at this point, yeah, when you're getting in bed with Governor DeSantis contributing to his wacko pack to try to defeat Amendment 3, yuck. Like, shame on you. Just shame on you. Gross. Anyhow, thanks for bringing that up, Kyle. You can see in this MJ Biz article who is donating to oppose, at least some of them. When this article was written, the donation cycle wasn't complete, so it was only the initial donors. Let me see if I can parse any out from here. Oh, and Florida hemp companies have pledged to raise an additional $5 million to defeat Amendment 3, according to this MJ Biz article. Gross. Gross. Okay. Yeah, we'll check that out. America's Mama, you're welcome. Thanks for watching. Too hot. I wish I could go on vacation too. I mean, we did, but it was in and out. It was very warm there. Hey, Derek on Instagram is asking if there are any efforts by NORML to assist tribal nations with legalization efforts. So sure, certainly if anyone who reaches out to us, we're more than willing to provide the same resources that we would to anybody. Everything is also available largely without any contact to us on our website for anyone who wants to use it. But yeah, if you know anyone in a tribal nation who wants to be in contact with us, please have them reach out. Happy to share our information so they can use that as well. JBeats, that's what I'm going to call you, on Instagram is asking about North Carolina. Not really doing anything right now. Corey, you mentioned Texas decriminalization, and Corey, Dallas just qualified. Brain's broken. Dallas submitted. Ground Game Texas is really crushing it with local depenalization measures. Yes, so in Texas this fall, Dallas will see a municipal ballot measure, and the city officials did verify last Friday that they collected enough signatures, so it will be on the ballot. Additionally, there was another Texas qualifier. Ground Game Texas previously did Austin, San Marcos, Killeen, Elgin, and Denton, and those voters approved a similar municipal measure, and then the Texas Attorney General, Ken Paxton, filed lawsuits to challenge them. They've largely been unsuccessful thus far. I saw a quick thing from Ground Game on Instagram right before the live. Oh, man, why did it go away? I was gonna look at it. Give it to me. Give me. I don't want to type that many letters. We literally follow them. It's just Texas. No, come on. It looks like Ken got. I shouldn't say it like that. Marijuana decriminalization in Texas City gets a win against Ken Paxton. That's what I can see. Yes, the San Marcos. This is hard to watch. A judge dismissed Paxton's lawsuit against San Marcos. A good day for Ken. Not a good day for Ken, apparently. Dead live sober. Not entirely certain. The dead live sober, like as in me. Okay. Georgia's got to change for sure. Hey, Ricky on Instagram. Yeah, listen, we talk about Georgia pretty regularly. Someone pops in and is like, hey, what about Georgia? And listen, I can tell you this, Georgia, Texas, and Virginia all started with the same convoluted, limited medical access legislation. And they've all gone in vastly different directions. Virginia is the first state in the South to legalize adult use, and we did that in 6 years. We went from this dumb, tiny CBD bill in 2015 to legalization in 2021. So it's okay to start with something that looks like it sucks on its face. Texas did it, and Texas is doing the best they can with who that state keeps electing. But there is a medical access program there, and you can largely get what you want, what you need. The same thing in Georgia, right? They started with the same program. They've done the least with it. Georgia's really struggled to get patient access realized in the state. So that's a great area to focus on, is improving the medical cannabis program in the state. Once you start chipping away at that, it makes it a lot easier to take bigger steps. You have to build that emotional comfort with your elected officials. We don't legislate based on facts. We legislate based on feeling. And anyone who's telling you otherwise is not a lobbyist. I'm sorry, Vagabond, that you can't hear me, but other people can. I don't know what to say. You can watch, this is also streaming on YouTube and on Facebook and LinkedIn. And on that other social channel that used to be a bird but isn't anymore. But gross. I don't know what sun and earth is, so you'll have to tell me, and then maybe I can say more things. Hi, Skyline. I see you on the Instagram. Hello, White on Instagram, asking when will cannabis be descheduled? So when Congress passes a bill. There is a rescheduling petition right now. That is to move botanical cannabis from Schedule 1 to Schedule 3 at the federal level, in order for marijuana to be removed from the Federal Controlled Substances Act altogether, and to just let states set their own policies free from threat of federal interference. That will require Congress. That's not going to happen, or can it happen by executive order from the president. It has to happen from a bill passed by Congress that then makes it to the president's desk that the president then signs. That's how federal prohibition can end. There are bills that have been introduced over and over again in Congress that would do just that, remove marijuana from the CSA and let states continue setting their own policies, but without any threat of federal interference. Elections have consequences, so if you elect people to Congress who will oppose that bill, then you can't get it on the president's desk for the president to sign. Likewise, if you elect a president who won't sign that bill, then the answer is never, or not during that cycle. Anyhow, James, I see that you are saying, when am I going to take questions? Anytime. I'm looking between 3 different question feeds. I've got Instagram, and then all of YouTube and Facebook in one block. So if I'm not getting to it, it's just because I'm trying to lifeguard the questions. I will take your question, though. You can tell me anything you want. Go ahead. And Wade, thank you for bringing this up, circling back to someone who mentioned North Carolina. Yes, there is a medical cannabis, well, I guess technically in Cherokee, there's a dispensary that is dispensing medical cannabis to those with certifications and adult use cannabis to residents of the tribal land. Thank you. I could have just read your comment. Wade says, North Carolina, there's a dispensary in Cherokee that is open to medical and tribal members. That's accurate. But didn't we also hear, Wade, from someone, maybe you, that there was a concern about people then driving off the reservation with cannabis and whether or not they were getting profiled and arrested? Can anyone confirm that? I don't want anyone to confirm that. I just want to know. I hate the names of people's profiles, and then it's like, what's that? The person asking about NORML France. NORML France exists. They're a great chapter. If you need help getting connected with them, please just send me an email. You can send it to chapters@norml.org. I'll see that. You can send it to normal@norml.org. I will see that as well. But yeah, I'd love to connect you with NORML France. We're actually, I had a great call with them before I went on vacation. And they are getting ready to publish a piece about essentially the state of cannabis policy in France and how that is of relevance during the Olympics. We will have that piece on the NORML blog translated in English as well. We're looking at, we'll be circling up on this next week, so it should be coming soon. I'm so glad you can hear me. Thank you. They work with Dr. Bronner's. I don't know who they are. I'm sorry, I'm reading all of the questions. Corey on Instagram is asking about what is the legality of THCA? Is it a loophole? I think people think it's a loophole, and I think in some jurisdictions where there's a poor understanding of cannabis science or policy, it can present as a loophole, but THCA is weed. If you go to a state legal licensed regulated dispensary today and you buy cannabis flower, What is in that is THCA until you decarboxylate it. Yes, a little tiny bit decarbs during the curing process, but the number that you see that says 24% THC, that means THCA. So is it a loophole? It's something that people are exploiting. Now, when you buy unregulated cannabis products, what's in it? Who knows? Gross. So buyer beware. They sure do have those unregulated operators, Corey. They sure do. Yeah, will people still get in trouble for it? It's weed. I don't know what else to tell people about this. They're like, oh well, it's not anything different. It's weed. White, you said you live in Virginia. You can you can email us at, I will see that. I'm also the executive director for Virginia NORML. You can email, I'll still see it if you email me at normal@normal.org. It's regarding your medical situation. That being screened for cannabis is specific to your provider. That is a rule they made up. There is nothing in Virginia law that requires them to do so. Medical cannabis is legal in Virginia. Adult use cannabis is legal in Virginia. If they're screening you, it's because they feel like it. They don't have to. They are not obligated or required to do so by law. Corey, it is crazy, isn't it? I'm sorry. I'm going to look at the Facebook and YouTube comments real quick and see what I have been missing. Yeah, Chris, there's Chris mentioning Texas. Make sure you're following Ground Game Texas. They're doing an amazing job. And Texas NORML, of course, as well. Nick, I agree. When Pennsylvania is back in session, it is time to keep hammering on this issue. Like you're real close in Pennsylvania. You're real close. Larry wants to decriminalize all of Indiana. So do we, Larry. If you have not yet connected with Indiana NORML, they just celebrated their 50th anniversary. Please do so. You can find links to them on the NORML website or just Google Indiana NORML. They're a great chapter. And again, it's who you're electing. If you're electing terrible people, you're going to get terrible cannabis policy. Landy, thank you. Thank you. Thank you. You're welcome. Yes, White, there is no rule saying you can't have both. That is entirely made up by your provider. What? And did it really? The North Carolina bill is. And tell me more. Oh, I can see you already said you'll try to give me that info. Thank you. Thank you, Ann. I appreciate that. I'm struggling to keep, I'm like 10 minutes behind in comments. Nick, thanks for that reminder. I didn't see this. I did a quick look. Nick says there's a lobby day in Harrisburg, Pennsylvania on Tuesday, October 1st at 10 a.m. Yes, Lehigh Valley NORML is leading that. Please, if you're in Pennsylvania, please do join. I didn't see any information. I did a cursory glance on Facebook before I started the show, so I could tell you all about any events, but I didn't see that. Maybe I missed it. Yeah, North Carolina's governor, Adam, isn't the problem. It's the legislature, as I'm sure everyone in North Carolina is perfectly aware. Oh, Adam, did you Adam says, great news in Thailand. It looks like they aren't going to go backwards and recriminalize it. Hooray. Was that published? I hope that was published. I saw that they were considering it, but I haven't had a minute to catch up on that. James, you can ask for, if you had cannabis that was confiscated, you can ask for it back. That doesn't mean they'll give it to you, but you can ask. Yes, Larry, Indiana NORML is a NORML chapter. They are real. If they're a real chapter, then they work with us. Skyline, that's delightful. Your comment. Yeah, Tree, look, there are unregulated products that suck, and there are unregulated products that I'm sure are great. And there are regulated products that probably are as good in some states as they are in others, because not every state has the same consumer safety standards. They're really high in Virginia. You can guess why. They aren't in some states. Some states don't even mandate third-party analytical laboratory testing. What? Vile. I don't know. Yeah, synthetic vapes, gross. Don't buy that. Hi, MK7. Good afternoon. I wondered if this was actually streaming on Twitter. Yours was the first comment I saw, so good to know. Thanks, I'm glad you like my suit, 801. I don't always wear a suit for this show. Frankly, I rarely do, but I had to do something earlier. White, if you're looking for a different healthcare provider, you can look at the Virginia NORML website on the practitioner page. Go to vanorml.org/doctors. And you can see a list of providers who specialize in cannabis certifications there. There's also a link at the very bottom of that page that will take you to the Virginia Cannabis Control Authority's list of cannabis practitioners, and so you may be able to find someone there as well. But there are plenty of pain management providers who also do cannabis certifications. WizCar on Twitter. You're welcome. Rastaman on Instagram, we were just talking about Pennsylvania. You have a really good shot at it when your next legislative session reconvenes in September. You're so close there. You're so close. Nick, I'm not going to say that, but you're funny. All right. Wow, that was a lot. Your questions are great this week, everyone. Thank you. Okay, let's talk about some news, right? A lot of things happened while I was away, but we're just gonna talk about the basics. So speaking of what we were just discussing, which is gross things and unregulated products, here's a story. Now, listen, Instagram, I'm sorry that I can't post these links for you in a way that you can click them, but that's how Instagram is. You can find all of these on the NORML website. There are two places. When you go to the front page, you can see our blog stories. You can also click on the news link and read our news releases. And if you just want this in your inbox, great, I got you. Click the subscribe box on the front of our website, or go to norml.org/subscribe. We send 2 weekly emails on Thursday and on Saturday. there's still a chance. If you go subscribe right now, you'll get the weekend weed read in your inbox tomorrow about 9 a.m. Eastern. 9 a.m. and 9:15 are when they both go out. On Thursday, it goes out around 4:20 because we're funny. Okay, listen, there was an analysis done. Shockingly, nothing's changed when it comes to the wild, wild west of unregulated CBD products. And this one concludes, consistent with numerous other studies, that most commercially available CBD products are mislabeled when it comes to the amount of, well, when it comes to what's in it, and make misleading claims. In fact, the study authors say, quote, these findings highlight the need for proper regulatory oversight of cannabinoid-containing products to ensure quality assurance and deter misleading or unfounded health claims in product marketing, end quote. Funny, not funny, right? Wade. Yeah, Adam, it is very unfortunate. Okay, story number 1, done. Story number 2. let's do all the stories that are like same as it ever was. Guess what? Another analysis was done. What did it say? Oh, there's been no increase in rates of marijuana use among youth over the past decade. And whose survey whose data, right? So all the whiny prohibitionists out there are like, yeah, but that's just what NORML says. No, it's not. This is federal data from the National Survey on Drug Use and Health. That's what those data say. Our news stories aren't our opinions. They may include our opinion as a quote. It's just telling you what's happening. Adam, look, I don't disagree with you. Adam says CBD does not get the respect it deserves, even within the cannabis community. The CBD molecule, in fact, I would agree, it does not. It is absolutely therapeutic in the right amounts. However, CBD products, which is entirely different, CBD is a cannabinoid and CBD products are something else. Consumers don't get the respect they deserve, and they're sold a bunch of garbage. But yeah, CBD has plenty of utility. It's very unfortunate that it's so difficult for consumers to find quality products that are regulated. Facts are facts, Ricky. People get big mad about that. I'm trying to read your comment, James, real quick. Yeah, James, that like, ugh. Have you, is it this, if it's the same practice, I can't tell from your comment if it's the same practice and this is a new location. But listen, if you're, again, this is a Virginia, this is a Virginia specific comment because I've had people on 2 different platforms asking about Virginia law. Now, there is nothing in Virginia law that requires a pain doctor, a pain management practice, to screen their patients for marijuana, for THC. That is not required by law. That is something that they've made up and decided to do on their own. Medical cannabis is legal in Virginia. Full stop. Same practice, same company. Well, that's good, James, because then you could at least call, you could contact your provider at your previous provider at one of the other locations. Tree. It's like can you see my script? Listen, so the kids don't like marijuana because it's for old people. It's not cool. Good. Um, look, hey, insulin. We're going to talk about, well, I don't know. Still. Okay, listen, Tree just got me here with the CBG. It's probably because Tree gets our newsletter. But here's the thing. That's just going to move us right on to our next little story here, which is in fact about CBG. There's a clinical trial. This is an actual human clinical trial done with CBG. It was the first human clinical trial to examine the acute effects of CBG on anxiety, stress, and mood. Unsurprisingly, it did positively, there were positive impacts on anxiety, stress, and mood, and memory as well. So verbal memory, patients felt that was improved. And they also felt that their anxiety and stress was decreased in this clinical trial, which used 20 milligrams of CBG. CBG is cannabidiol. It's another cannabinoid like THC or CBD. You can read about that on the NORML website. Let me see if I can. Oh, yes, hide current comment. Thank you. Insulin asks, is the Farm Bill reauthorization going to mess up the CBD and seed markets? We'll see. that was a long way for me to go. We'll see. We'll see. I will think about that for next week, insulin. I'll put it in my brain. Hey, Samuel, thank you for joining us. And thank you for this summary. Anne in North Carolina. Anne says the North Carolina Senate passed H563, which was a hemp products bill to which they attached a medical cannabis bill and sent it back to the House where it has been sent to the Rules Committee. Thank you, Anne. Oh, James, James says anti-marijuana legislation was killed in committee in California. There's a lot to learn about cannabis, Tree. You're welcome, James. Yes, it is legal in California, other James. Insulin's talking about the Farm Bill and says lots of panic on the web over it. Yeah, because people are exploiting what they believe to be loopholes, what I would say is just really poorly written code. Yeah. I'm sure there is panic over it. And what's unfortunate is that the panic is all about, oh no, am I not going to be able to make money off of consumers who do better? Deserve better, sorry. Consumers deserve products that are tested for real, not by, oh, it has a certificate of authenticity. That doesn't mean anything unless you're using an accredited laboratory that is also licensed and regulated. Consumers deserve that. I know I'm drinking iced tea that I made at home, so there's sugar in it. And I know that my sugar doesn't have arsenic in it because it's regulated. You can't say the same thing about these unregulated cannabinoid products, and that sucks for consumers. You can say that if you're buying that from a licensed dispensary that's in a state with good laws, but you deserve the same. You deserve to be protected as a consumer. Can I simplify the North Carolina thing? Yeah, so what Ann was saying is that they attached the medical cannabis bill to another bill. They attached it to a hemp bill and sent it back to the House. Yeah, Samuel, Cherokee started selling medical, and then they sell adult use to tribal members only. Medical, you have to have a med card or whatever your state requires there. You have to have some medical certification. You have to be a patient. That's how I'll say it. But for adult use, it's limited only to tribal members. And then saying you can't take it off of tribal land, you can't take cannabis that you buy in Virginia into Kentucky or any other state. That's also not legal. So, Adam, it's not sweet tea. It's just iced tea. It does have sugar in it, but not that level of sugar. Thank you for sharing that story, Anne. Let's talk about let's see if we can wrap up these little news stories right here. James, I do like that comment. Next story is cannabis use. This is a study, our opinion, a study done that shows cannabis use is inversely associated with metabolic syndrome in younger adults. What did you just say, JM? People who consume cannabis have lower odds of suffering from metabolic syndrome. That's sort of a collection of issues that can occur, like higher BMI, diabetes, cardiovascular issues, things like that. So this is pretty consistent with other studies. There's a whole section on diabetes in particular in clinical applications. You can find it in the Medical Marijuana Research Library on the NORML website for free. James says Harrisonburg, Virginia needs a dispensary. It would be a great location. Yes. There are many areas in Virginia that need dispensaries because we have 8.5 million people in this state. And we have 24 dispensaries, 23 dispensaries for 8.5 million. It's absurd. Look, elections have consequences. Oh, torn. Do we talk about the news? I'm going to interject, even though this is the news segment. I'm going to interject just so that you all know, in case you're thinking, "Oh, I'm bored and I want to go." This is riveting. I don't know why you would want to leave, but hey, guess what? I'm only sharing the Facebook link because that's what I have handy. But we're doing an extra live next Wednesday at 4 p.m. Eastern. So August 31st, 4 p.m. Eastern, we're going to do a special live with NORML. It will be myself, NORML Deputy Director Paul Armentano, and NORML Political Director Morgan Fox. And we will be talking about the presidential candidates and their position on cannabis policy. If you have been on our Facebook page this week, you have seen that people have the stupidest ideas about what's good for cannabis policy at the federal level. Look, we're gonna dive so deep into these weeds on Wednesday. But what we do here at NORML is change people's minds. When NORML was founded in 1970, only 12% of the population thought that marijuana shouldn't be illegal. We've done a lot of work, and now it is the majority of Americans believe that marijuana should be legal. We're not still mad at those Americans for whatever they believed before we changed their minds. Like, it's literally what we do. So the comment section on our Facebook has been super gross this week, with people whining and complaining about people changing their minds. It's literally what that's what we do. It's literally what we do. We have tools. We give you tools to write your lawmakers to change their minds about bad cannabis policies in favor of good ones. So when people change their mind, we high five them and say, "Great, welcome to the right side of history." Also, if you elect terrible people on cannabis policy, you will get terrible cannabis policy. I don't know. Join us on Wednesday, August 31st at 4 p.m. Eastern, so we can help you smoke the vote in November. Hey, Galileo on Instagram says cannabis should be legal just like cigarettes. Yeah. So alcohol and tobacco are not regulated. And cannabis has a much better safety profile than either of those substances. See if they can actually follow through. Which part? It's a two-parter, because Congress. If you've got the president and then you've got Congress, and Congress has to put the bill on the president's desk. So you have terrible Congress, you can't put the bill on the president's desk. And if you have a good Congress and a bad president, like, there's just so many things to consider here when you go to vote. There we go. Okay. Hey, Insulin, thanks for your question. Insulin asked, wasn't NORML working with Vice President Harris earlier this year on legislative reform? Yes, we did meet with Vice President Harris earlier this year at the White House, when Vice President Harris was Senator Harris. She was a lead sponsor of the MORE Act. She's been very clear that her position is marijuana should be legal, because she has evolved on the issue, which is what we convince people to do. Huh, okay. July 31st. Oh, Fred, thank you. Fred, I actually made a graphic with the wrong date on it. And Paul was like, "Do you mean July? July, next week is July." Yes, next week. Wednesday, it's literally right in front of me. Wednesday, July 31st. Wednesday, July 31st. It says it in this. It's like I'm married to this wrong date. Did I put it on the website for the wrong date too? Oh, good grief. I'll fix it if I did. Listen, ignore everything stupid that I said earlier. Live with NORML, Smoke the Vote is July 31st. Wednesday, July 31st. Next week. 4 p.m. Eastern. Still me, Paul, and Morgan. Still talking about presidential candidates. My brain is broken this week. Oh. And so, did I put the wrong date for the event? No, okay, it's the correct date on Facebook. Okay. Woo! What in the huh? Okay. Well, that's something. I'm not gonna pretend I understand that. Hey, Ann, Smoke the Vote is live. Do you mean like certain portions of it? So, friends, if you want to look at our voter guide, it's called Smoke the Vote. You can see it at vote.norml.org. It's up year round. However, certain election information will only appear like 30 days out from the election. Like, we can see it, but you might not be seeing it. Great. So like, oh, I'll turn back on. I think the presidential might be turned off. I'll turn it back on this week. As I just looked in there to see if the general election. I don't know. Look, Anne, thank you for reminding me. I'll poke smoke the vote next week and make sure everything is showing up. James, this doesn't have to be your last question, but James is asking, do I know of a dispensary that delivers to the Harrisonburg area? Yes. Rise delivers to Harrisonburg. You can find that information on the Virginia NORML website, vanormal.org/dispensaries. And their delivery menu is specific to one of their stores. It's very clear when you go to their website which one to order delivery from, but Rise does deliver. I knew you were in there, Anne. Okay. It's almost 5, and I have like a few more newses to tell you about. Just real quick. This one isn't a good one. Sorry. But look, it deserves to be told. It's a story that deserves to be told. Nearly 50,000 people have been deported for violating marijuana laws. This is in the US. And when you look at this report, the authors further acknowledge that in some instances, non-citizens are being deported for marijuana-related activities that are not criminalized in those jurisdictions. America, you're doing it wrong. So read that story on the NORML website. Okay, thanks. Next up, here's one for you. Thank you to the American College of Physicians. They put out some new policy papers recently, and this physicians group recommends decrim, quote, to help address systemic inequities and promote treatment-focused alternatives to criminal penalties for substance use disorders. Good job, American College of Physicians. And, I guess I just have one more to tell you about. And this one I think is really super important. Isn't being here illegally a crime? We're here to talk about weed policy, my dude. Okay, James, hold on. In Oklahoma, and it's really fascinating that this happened in Oklahoma. An appellate criminal court in Oklahoma just ruled that a patient, an authorized medical cannabis patient in that state cannot be prosecuted criminally or for child neglect for using medical cannabis during pregnancy. And I just love that ruling came out of Oklahoma. Hello, Woodyard. You are late. Luckily, I'm struggling to keep up today. So, oh, sorry, Instagram people who can't see us. You can remove this destination and re-add it. Should I live dangerously and even try that? Ugh, you know what? We're almost done. So, like, you can just deal with it. Sorry, Instagram. I don't know why they cut us off. And it was only on the Virginia one. Go to the other one. Yeah, Warnock and Ossoff are probably two of the better people on cannabis policy in Georgia. Huh. Adam, that's fascinating and probably accurate. Why did I open this page? Oh, because some. Who am I? Do I go here? Someone asked me about Ohio. James, you asked about Ohio. What about Ohio? They say. Like, is something pending in Ohio? Like, you can possess up to 70 grams with no penalty in Ohio. That's what I can tell you. Ohio has two bills. Ohio has. Oh yeah, that bill is. How's that bill still active? Anyhow, Ohio does have some jankety bill to undo what voters did. So you should oppose that if you're in Ohio. You're not in Ohio, but if you are in Ohio, you should oppose HB 341. If you could get rid of Kemp, you could have legalization. Look, if Virginia could get rid of well, it will, but when Virginia gets rid of Youngkin, we could have adult use sales. You know, you could have medical sales in a meaningful way in Georgia also if your legislature would get itself together. Oh, Adam, got it. Yeah. Congratulations, Samuel. Yeah, Samuel, Instagram will cut off the Virginia NORML one, but it won't cut off the normal stream. Because one has a bigger audience than the other. But it does stream on both. But they let the normal stream go. Sorry, Loud Cloud, I missed your previous comment about okay. Galileo on Instagram says, I think all of the states look at Colorado, Oklahoma, California, and how it's bringing in money and helping with the states. I think some states look at that. I think that conservative controlled states, which you would think are, states or legislative bodies, legislators, whatever, who elected officials who purport to value economic opportunity, I think when they see cannabis, they forget that they value economic opportunity. That's what I meant earlier when I said legislating based on feelings, on facts. And that's on full display in conservative controlled states that, economic opportunity does not hold any meaning when it comes to cannabis. So that's what I think. In where, Simon? Is that? I don't know what your abbreviation, what that means. Simon, please tell me again. Where's HB 168? Guys are ridiculous. Okay, so that's what's up with that. I did all the news. Yay. High five me. I want to tell you about some things. Again, I'm gonna say all of it correctly this time. Yay me. I know how dates work. Live with NORML will be coming to you extra next week because we're going to do a live on Wednesday. Live with NORML Smoke the Vote, Wednesday, July 31st at 4 p.m. Eastern. Myself, NORML's Deputy Director, Paul Armentano, NORML's Political Director, Morgan Fox, will be here with you, not only answering your burning questions live, but more specifically to talk about the 2024 presidential candidates and their policy positions on cannabis. So bring your serious questions. And remember that we're not here to listen to you whine next Wednesday, August 31st. It's July 31st. I did it again, Fred. Oh my gosh. I'm real ready for August, obviously. July 31st. Thank you, Chris. Thank you, Chris. Sue, you're welcome. The Angry Penguin, 4 p.m. Eastern, next Wednesday, July 31st. Me, Paul, and Morgan, right here, talking about the candidates and where they really stand on cannabis policy. On Sundays at 11, you can catch the Rotation by Suncoast NORML. That's one of our Florida chapters. They stream on YouTube at 11 a.m. Eastern, Suncoast NORML. And speaking of Florida, who wants to hang out in Key West? The Key West 2024 NORML Key West Legal Seminar is December 5th through 7th at the Pier House. If you would like to join us and you want to stay at the Pier House, please get your room now. There's a reserve your room button on the Key West page. It's going to send an email to the Pier House. You have to email the Pier House to get the discounted room. If you call them, they will not know what you're talking about. You have to email them so Kimberly can book your room in the discounted block. And then, of course, you'll also want to register. Now, if you are an attorney who needs CLEs, great, we got you. We're fully accredited in every state that requires CLEs for practicing attorneys. If you don't need CLEs or you're not an attorney, we got you. In fact, we have a discounted rate for you. So come hang out with myself and legal experts in Key West in December. And Keith, yes. Keith will be there with me. He's my colleague. Thank you. What are you doing at the table? Oh, Charlie Crist said that. All right. You bought the Dr. Lieb, you bought the NORML. I'm looking around like I have it in my office. I used to have a stack of t-shirts over there, but they're not actually there, but my brain thinks they are. The NORML classic logo, the retro logo, we call that the smiley face one. The navy blue t-shirt with the yellow old logo. Yeah. I don't know Galileo, I'm not looking at my email right now, so I don't know if your message has arrived. Maybe. Make sure you send it to normal@normal.org, NORML@NORML.org, and I'll see it. Okay. Wow. All right. Yes, we've done all of the things. Oh, yes, yes, please feel free to send us an email. Hey, if I didn't answer your question, sorry. Join me next week, Wednesday or Friday, or send us an email at normal@normal.org. That's NORML@NORML.org. Hey, before we say goodbye and everyone goes to have a fantastic weekend, that should have started 15 minutes ago. Hit that like, follow, or subscribe button so you never miss when Normal goes live. Hello, Christopher. I'm glad you're here because now we're done. Adam, you're welcome. Other Chris, you're welcome. Great. We did all the news. Hey, the Normal's Weekend Weed Read comes out tomorrow, so make sure you're subscribed. Head to normal.org/subscribe to have that tasty nugget delivered right to your inbox tomorrow morning about 9 a.m. Eastern. Darren, what have I done with Jax? What do you like? Where did I put Jax? You mean like, did I put her in a box, or what have Jax and I done together? Because Jax and I have done a lot together. We've been working together for years. She's in Texas. I didn't do anything to her though. Texas Normal has a new executive director. Nothing happened to Jax though. Nothing happened to her, Darren. She's great. All right, friends, this has been fantastic, but I'm going to go home. So everyone have a fantastic weekend. I really hope to see you back here Wednesday, July 31st, 4 p.m. Eastern for a special edition of Live with Normal, Smoke the Vote. And let's try to do this again next Friday as well. Everyone have a great weekend, and I'll see you back here next time. Bye.